Over the past decade, Luigi's Mansion speedruns have changed a lot. From small time saves, new techniques, and even major skips that have brought any percent down to just 5 minutes, there always seems to be new discoveries and innovations that keep this game fresh. But out of all of the main categories, the 100% speedrun has fascinated me the most. Since the early days, it's become more and more complex, and it's all because of one big thing that really sets it apart: money. Unlike any percent in both its out-of-bounds and non-out-of-bounds variants, collecting cash actually matters in 100%. In addition to needing to capture all 23 portrait ghosts and all 50 boos, the most important aspect of the 100% run is collecting enough money for the A rank mansion. And throughout the years, that process has changed quite a bit. In recent times, the world record routes have become much more optimized, as well as less lenient. Speaking of, how much money do you need for 100%? Do you need to collect everything? Thankfully, no. You just need to collect 100 million G to achieve A rank, leaving you with about 42 million to spare. Even with this leeway, routing in the fastest 100 million is not particularly easy. The money is not only spread across the entire mansion physically, but across several different currencies. Coins, bills, gold bars, pearls, gems, oh my. Some are worth more than others. Some are much more scarce than others. Coins and bills can be found in several common locations like chests and furniture, while gold bars are a bit uncommon, and the gemstones are scarce and often well hidden. Though, out of all of the currencies, the most valuable ones are the diamonds. There are 5 regular diamonds worth 2 million each, obtained from a green treasure chests as a reward for defeating an optional portrait ghost, which already need to be defeated for 100%. The red diamonds are a joke, worth 5,000 each, the same as a coin. The only one of the two you'd get is King Boo's crown after his defeat, but what isn't a joke are the 2 gold diamonds, worth 20 million each. One from watering this giant plant at 3 specific times throughout the game, and the other as a reward for capturing all 50 boos. These are absolutely required if you want to have any chance of A rank during a 100% speedrun, so don't you dare miss them.
So Fi-Fi, I think they're shouting gold diamond.
Fi-Fi.
Oh, dude!
So, the regular and gold diamonds total up to 50 million G, half of the A rank requirement. So, what about the other half? Well, there are also the gems and pearls, making up about 40% of the money route combined. Hidden throughout the mansion are 10 sapphires, 10 emeralds, and 10 rubies. Many early routes collected about 3 sapphires and 3 emeralds, while getting about 7 to 8 rubies. The rubies are the most valuable out of these 3 gems, worth 1 million each, so it was worth going for as many along the way as you could. The rubies are worth the same as a large pearl. Oh right, the pearls! The pearls are pretty unique amongst all the currencies, since these are earned based on how well you capture portrait ghosts. With the exception of the area bosses, each portrait ghost will drop pearls based on how long you successfully drain their HP. First, the ghost will drop 4 small pearls for every consecutive 10 HP drained, before moving on to dropping 4 medium pearls for every 10 HP drained, before finally dropping a large pearl after successfully draining 90 HP in one go. Naturally, since it's a speedrun, you already want to one-cycle these portrait ghosts, but it's extra important to get those big pearls, so you don't have to go out of your way to collect extra gems. The last 10% of the money are the lowest currencies: coins, bills, and gold bars. Out of all of these, bills end up carrying most of the value, as they are way more plentiful than gold bars, and only slightly less common than regular coins, while being worth 4 times more. So, when creating a money route, runners prioritize the 2 gold diamonds, the 5 regular diamonds, and then the pearls, gems, and finally, the lower yield cash. Routing in the diamonds and pearls is easy, and the gems to a certain degree, but surprisingly, It can be difficult to route the cash and the gold because of every speedrunner's best friend, RNG. That's right, RNG plays quite a pivotal role in hundo. The most obvious case of RNG in Luigi's Mansion speedruns are finding boos and catching them, but a not so obvious yet highly impactful instance of RNG are money spawns. You know how you can get cash from opening up drawers or using the vacuum to shake chandeliers? Well, what if I told you that money wasn't always guaranteed to come out? That's right, quite a few of those money spawns are luck dependent. If that money doesn't appear, the only way to get it to appear is to reset the room. You can go for it again during a revisit to that room, like when you're revisiting Area 1 for the boos, but generally, it isn't worth reloading the room over and over again for the money. Same thing goes for golden mice. There are 10 of them in the game, and they drop quite a bit of money, sometimes even gems. Half of them spawn when you scan a hidden piece of cheese, like the one in the safari room. The other half have a 20% chance to spawn when entering specific rooms, such as the sealed room, or when you pass through the Area 2 hallway. As such, a good money route can't just route out the exact path for 100 million. Runners have to give themselves a buffer of at least 1 to 2 million, maybe slightly more if you're a beginner. Sometimes, top runners play a bit riskier with a smaller buffer. Either way, as you become a more experienced runner, you slowly wean off certain safeties while consistently hitting A rank. From 2014 to 2016, money routes were fairly optimized for the time. There would be some improvements to make things more efficient, but the groundwork for the category had been mostly set in stone. You'd collect 3 to 5 sapphires, 2 to 3 emeralds, and 6 to 7 rubies, while also getting all of the big pearls, except maybe missing one. But things were about to take a turn, because a certain technique was beginning to creep its way into the meta: pearl duplication. Up until this point, 100% did not have many significant glitches in the run. You may have a few boo capture cutscene skips here and there, maybe you could say R-pumping boos are borderline, but nothing significant was used for hundo until pearl dupes in 2016. Unlike most of the game's currencies, pearls can behave quite strangely when collected in certain ways, allowing for dupes. If a pearl touches Luigi's hitbox and the vacuum's hitbox on the same frame, the pearl can be collected twice, effectively duplicating it. This works on all 3 pearl sizes, as well as gold bars. However, these dupes are most commonly performed on the big pearls, as they're worth 1 million each, the same as a ruby. So in theory, you could skip going a bit out of the way to collect gems in favor of duping pearls. Awesome! Sounds like a big time save, right? Well, not entirely. Pearl duping is frame perfect, and it's certainly not the most consistent trick. There are 2 main ways runners will dupe pearls. The first is the element method. By having an element equipped, you press L all the way down to the digital input to shoot out an elemental ball before pressing R a frame later as you walk into the pearl. This works because the vacuum hitbox is in between Luigi's legs, which overlaps his body hitbox. The second, less common and more advanced method is the air dupe, where you get the vacuum hitbox in Luigi's head for a frame via an R pump. Yeah, this one is quite tricky, but if you want a competitive time in this category, you'll need to start adopting at least the element dupe method. And once you become a top runner, then maybe you can start doing the air dupe method in certain places. Big pearl dupes saw their introduction in world records around 2016, but were often limited to just 1 to 2 dupes. Ever since then, it's been a game of increasing risk versus reward. It's very risky to replace gems with dupes in the money route, but as the record lowered further and further, more time was saved from collecting less gems in favor of more pearl dupes. The dupe route signified a slowly increasing skill gap between beginners, mid-level players, and the top runners. Nowadays, the top runners will forgo collecting any gems besides maybe the big chest in the hidden room, which contains a ruby, sapphire, and an emerald, and maybe 1 or 2 extra rubies in favor of 6 to 7 pearl dupes. The current world record by Snap is particularly advanced, completely skipping the hidden room gem chest, not collecting any sapphires or emeralds, and having a whopping 8 big pearl dupes. The current state of Luigi's Mansion 100% is certainly more complex than anyone could have possibly imagined a decade ago. There have been many runners that have really pushed the limits of what 100% has to offer. Michael T. 100, HD Lax, Joven, Pablo, and whoa, what the hell? Snap just got an inbound skew, and he just clipped into the sitting room. What is going on? As it turned out, Luigi's Mansion is a pretty broken video game. For many years though, the most you'd see glitch-wise was an any percent, which involved clearing Area 1 before using a chest to clip out of bounds to navigate all the way to King Boo into the secret altar, skipping most of the game. However, any percent was not as popular as no out of bounds or 100%. While out of bounds technically wasn't banned in 100%, it never saw much use, since it didn't really save much time at all. In fact, it was quite useless, as there was only one known location to go out of bounds in, the nursery. This suddenly changed in December 2022, when Saria 100, Mini 352, Glitch PhD, and Snap began to experiment with inbound skews. Skews are a glitch primarily used in any percent to navigate past walls out of bounds. By walking into enemies, like bats and mice, at certain angles, and hitting the C-stick in a certain direction as Luigi gets hit, his standing angle can be severely skewed, along with his active hitbox. Skews were previously thought to be out of bounds only, but once the community began testing them inbounds, that was shown to not be the case. That same month, early ideas for how inbound skews can be implemented to 100% began to be discussed. One big sequence break found around this time was clipping into the sealed room early, skipping the need to fall into it from the chimney to get the key to the sitting room early. Eventually, top runners went a step further, skipping the sealed room entirely. Using a mouse while in Area 3, you can get a huge skew off of the mouse, enough to clip past the locked door. This allowed you to easily route in the sitting room and capture Soupy in the guest room right before backtracking to areas 1 and 2 to collect Mario's items. This detour can save up to a minute, but it is quite difficult, arguably the hardest trick in the run. Certainly not needed unless you're going for the world record. But that, along with pearl duping, is what you need if you want to become a top runner in 100% these days. And in theory, it could be a lot worse if you were to implement the TAS route. On October 2nd, 2023, Taylor, aka Neverdoors, published a 100% tool-assisted speedrun on their YouTube page, because it wouldn't be a proper Luigi's Mansion video on this channel without Neverdoors. This task, to put it simply, is bonkers, and absolutely not RTA viable. But it is a very fascinating look into how complicated 100% can really be when you remove the limitations of humans. We're talking more out-of-bounds movement, pearl dupes up the wazoo, and the craziest thing of all, skipping a gold diamond. One of the biggest cornerstones of money routing, completely eliminated from the picture. A feat I don't think we'll see in 100% RTA ever. Taylor's hundo task is an absolute treat, and I cannot recommend it enough. Go give it a watch when you got the time. Luigi's Mansion 100% is one of the most fascinating speedrun categories I've seen. The money routing, the duping, the risk-reward progression, and now inbound skews? It really is the gift that keeps on giving. It is such a good category that it even has a best friend on the leaderboards, 100% Pal. Wait, why is the mansion mirrored? Oh, look, a gold mouse. Why did it drop a diamond? Why is Luigi riding the vacuum? What the hell is this? Welcome to Luigi's Mansion PAL version. The 100% run I've been talking about this whole time is the one done on the Hidden Mansion on the NTSC version of the game, released in Japan and North America, but mostly the Japanese version. While the Hidden Mansion difficulty on NTSC is the standard for speedrunning due to skipping the intro and a faster vacuum, the PAL Hidden Mansion is completely different, especially for 100%. While you can get an A rank on Normal Mansion in NTSC, you cannot on PAL, since PAL has a much higher requirement for A rank, 150 million G. Wait, that doesn't add up. The maximum amount of money is only 142,390,000 G. Except that the PAL Hidden Mansion made some very interesting changes. While it has half the colored gems from the Normal Mansion, every Golden Mouse and Speedy Spirit in the PAL Hidden Mansion drops a diamond when caught. This makes getting 100% much more involved, which naturally leads to PAL having separate categories on the leaderboard from NTSC for both hundo and no out of bounds. As a result, the PAL 100% record is 10 minutes slower than NTSC, due to requiring you to go out of the way to capture about a dozen Speedy Spirits, as well as most of the gold mice, including the ones with the 20% spawn rate. The game is also locked at 50 Hz instead of 60 Hz, slowing down the game, and Pearl dupes are also patched. Still, it is very neat that PAL has its own separate categories on the leaderboard, and I'd love to cover it in more detail in a future video if there's enough interest. Special thanks to Glitch PhD for proofreading my script and editing this video. If you're interested in watching Luigi's Mansion 100%, there's going to be a 100% LTA tournament at PACE Fall 2024 early next week, where Glitch PhD will be one of the participants. So if you're interested, please go and give it a watch. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to shoot for the moon.